Hi, welcome everyone. It's day 2 of the 9 candles, and as you can see, we have Danny. Yay!
Hey, everybody.
And we're going to cut first to the candles and light them, and then we're going to discuss what we're about today. So here's the candles. And today is day 2, and we're going to light the first and second one. Danny's lighting his.
I'm lighting mine.
Okay. And 9 candles, and this ceremony will end on the equinox on the 22nd. Equal night, equal day, the balance of the light and the dark. As the daytime shortens to this point, and with the ley lines, energetic nerves of our planet straighten and stay what the people who follow them call in bounds. It is a time for us all to connect with the elements of our planet. In this time of rapid changes, we need to pause and consider our own boundaries. And with this ritual, we will consider where we have been and where we are going. What I've learned from the elementals that came and spoke to me, saying, please do this ritual. Small rituals on your personal level and shared rituals with the help of others connect us to our more evolving selves to connect and reconnect to others. Candles are love and hope, light and warmth, and our world needs all of them. And with that, I'm going to defer to my guest, Mr.
Oh, no, but go back. What's the center crystal you have?
You're right, Danny. I get so
Gosh.
can't forget.
Good thing I'm here.
Good thing Danny's here. This is a fairy stone. It's a very, very, very light form of amethyst. It can almost be pink, but it's not rose quartz. It's amethyst. And that's a fairy stone that was given to me by a very dear friend of mine years ago when I was reading cards. She came up and said, I found this for you. It's a fairy stone. You'll find a use for it. Well, I have. So
awesome. Awesome. So I love that image of the four elementals, earth, air, water, and
fire.
Fire. Thank you.
I do that too. I get the what?
And what's the fire?
Fire.
As it burns my hair up. And when you were talking about the rituals, sometimes I feel like I should be doing more in my ritual practice.
Mm-hmm.
I should be more in depth. I should do more detailed stuff. And I've always felt in my heart space, I don't need to go any further. But then I go, am I just being lazy, or is that really true? And I think it's really true that you can have a very elaborate ritual, and what that does is it will focus your energy more and more and more to the message that is going to be coming to you. However, I think we're moving into a space where that veil is thinner between 3D, 4D, and 5D, and we can be a little more simple in our rituals, mm-hmm. and achieve the same result by getting, I think it's just doing something, just paying attention to it is the biggest thing, and just setting up some quiet time, 5, 10, 20 minutes, whatever it feels mm-hmm. like for you, just to get quiet and pay attention and look to see if leaves are waving at you for mm-hmm. for no reason. I have a wind chime in my back, and there will be no wind, and the wind chime is chiming.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, well, pay attention to that and go, isn't that cool? That's just don't walk by that. Just pause and I mean, for me, I love the sound. I thank it for ringing when I walk by or whatever. And but I also, when I'm hiking, I'll look into the woods, and if I'm in if I'm going through that veil a little bit, you can actually see the elementals in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can anyway. Maybe I need a new prescription on my glasses. However,
No.
I find it really comforting, knowing that they're there and accepting them. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, come on out and play.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
the other thing they want us to do is to look at including others in our rituals and create rituals so we can connect with other people. And I think it starts with the individual ritual of finding a spot each day to have some thoughtfulness go into
Right.
what's going on around you. And then like one of the things that they said to me was, we love dancing, we love singing, we loved it when when people on the earth were acknowledging us with the maypoles and some of those kinds of rituals that
Mhm.
we don't. And what we have to remember is that the reason they disappeared from our complete consciousness, or from us seeing them around us all the time, was because we got into so 3D, so earthbound, so much in that lower vibration that we can't see them, but they're still here, they're still attached to the planet. And there is that town, and my mind has gone blank because we're reading, right? Your mind always goes blank when you're reading. But there's that town in it's either England or Scotland, where it's based on the fact fairies live there. And people see fairies all over the place. And in the 1920s, people used to go up there and take pictures of all the fairies on all the plants and all that stuff. And there's a reader I watched who's British, and he owns a house there. He finally just got a house there. He said it's just absolutely marvelous. And you can feel that extra bit of energy around you. And of course, what they're trying to point our attention to is the fact that on the 22nd, when we light these last candles, that's the day when, if you follow ley lines or dragon lines or any of those earth energies, they get straighter. And the 4 times of the year that they get straighter are the 2 equinoxes and the 2 solstices. When the earth is balancing its own energy out, it kind of straightens those lines out. And I guess sort of like when you stand up and you straighten out your wrinkled suit, I'm straightening it out so I can go on to the next quarter. It's a cycle for us to all understand. We need to kind of straighten out our lines and relook at our boundaries and see where we are.
Mm.
And that's where I'm trying to go with this.
And I feel that energy really strongly, and I know others do as well. And whether they put it in those succinct terms or not, but it's good to imagine that. It's like, as you said, standing up and straightening up, and it feels like when you said stand up in your suit, I was feeling my back, and it's kind of like stretching out and kind of growing a little bit, stretching your back out, because we've been bent over with so much, whatever it is that's bending us over, whatever we're thinking about, whatever negative thoughts we're thinking, it's just like pushing us down and down, so that we can't stretch and expand and see other things that have been around us all the time that can give us comfort.
Yes. And to understand that you're not in that alone.
Right.
to feel like we're more connected to everything else while we're doing this. And that's why sometimes whatever we can do in groups that can help with that, we kind of really need to do, because there's been so much separation for us in the last, well, obviously since COVID. But I think I talked to a woman a couple days ago who said now that she looks back across this whole journey, she realizes that now she's much more connected to people through the YouTube community and through friends she's made that way, and through getting, especially this year, getting very politically involved. She feels less distant from people than when she was sitting in an office desk to desk with them.
Huh. Interesting. Well, I mean, you certainly find your liked, your community that you associate with on YouTube. You can find that really easy. I still feel the face-to-face, even though it is so polarized now, meeting people face-to-face. I mean, I think that was a big shock for us with COVID. It kind of shook us up. The other thing that I think isolates us a lot is the current cell phone, because we're just staring at the phone. We're not interacting with people. We don't get to hug them, look at them, smell them, touch them. And it's a very, even though it's supposed to be bringing us closer together, I find that a lot of it just separates us from the human experience. And even though they say it's making life simpler, I think it's making life more complicated, where we need to go back to the elements and realize that's where we need to ground ourselves, in the 4 elements, in the elementals, and look for them and get some guidance from them as we get lost in the Industrial Revolution and technology. What can we learn from just going back to the basics? It's very powerful.
Yeah, and y'all don't have to wait till I fire up candles to decide to go seek a higher path for your own intentions. Work with the lunar cycles, which Dorothy and I spoke about on day 1. There's all kinds of cycles happening around us that we can connect ourselves to, and it gives you a chance to stop and pause and say, how far have I gotten?
Right.
Or was that even something, what you may start working towards something going, I really don't want to go that way. I want to go this way,
Right.
It works out. In Australia, the ley lines are called singing lines because the Aborigines knew exactly where they were without the benefit of dowsing. And they would walk single file singing across these territories to relate to the different energies and elements.
So the elementals must have been very happy.
Oh, they saw them all the time. They drew pictures of them. I had a friend who when I went to college, I was in the arts department, and I had a friend who went and did 2 semesters in Australia studying Aboriginal dance to bring that motion and that sense. And she came back a completely changed person.
Yeah,
she was like most of the girls I went to school with. If it wasn't for Neiman's, it didn't exist, and made up to the nines. And I was the one resident hippie on the campus. It was like, my hair wasn't purple, but it was, for my generation, it was purple. And I didn't wear makeup, and I went to a university, and I know the young ones are going to go, oh, no place was ever like that. You could not go to class in pants. You had to wear a dress. And I was in theater, and in theater you could go in pants because we did dances. And I just said, screw this. I'm not running back to the dorm and changing. I mean, that's ridiculous. And my parents were paying my tuition. I wasn't on a scholarship, so I could do pretty much whatever I wanted because they were paying full tuition.
Yeah.
but, you know, and I can tell you, I think going to that university was clearly a lesson in being outside my tribe, but
Yeah, yeah. You know, and finding your tribe is so important. And yeah. One of the things you were talking about with, and when it just struck me about singing and dancing,
Mhm.
there's a lot of, I'm hearing a lot of talk now about light language
Yes.
and people tapping into light language. And I've always found that for me, the nature sounds, the insects buzzing, the birds chirping, those are light language, as well as, now, a lot of you know that I'm from Missouri. I may be a hillbilly, but I think hillbilly music is a form of light language. It's very high. Some of
Mhm.
the singing is extremely high. Roy Acuff,
Mhm.
to mention one. The banjo, the mandolin, they all play really fast. They're all in a higher vibration than certainly heavy metal. But
Mhm.
it's getting back to the Aboriginal singing and dancing,
Mhm.
um, playing music, and just being part of the the earthly experience, and not the technology experience is it, I mean, it just makes my heart sing.
Mhm.
No pun intended.
Well, you know,
But
what you call hillbilly music is actually a derivative of the Celtic music that came over
yeah,
from Ireland, and they have the same thing. You know, that it's the Irish tenor. It's the and they have the same quick pace of their music. If you ever watch Riverdance, you'll see exactly how quick
yes,
pace that
yep,
music.
yep,
So, so we all kind of go back to our roots. When I've been reading up on elementals to get a better feel for them, I'm naturally drawn to the Celtic ones because, according to my DNA, I'm Viking, Celtic, and a little bit English, and 2% Portuguese. I don't know how that happens, but everybody gets 2% Portuguese. Those
you're
guys,
not Arcturian or Lyrian or
actually, no. My Akashic records say something else, but I don't have a genetic thing on that.
okay.
And I really, I don't want to bring out, I was in Atlantis and I was in Lemuria, I look at, okay, I had all those backgrounds, but how do they affect me today? One of the things that the elementals said to me when I had the vision with them was they said, you've been reading about us forever. And that's true from about the fourth grade on, fourth, fifth grade. I had the complete dictionary of myths. That was my light nighttime reading. And that's all elementals. That's all those myths are. And the Vikings and the Irish ones and the Asian ones and the every culture in the world. I watched a documentary on dragons. Every culture in the world has a dragon, every single one, and they all call them something like dragon. They all had a drg sound in them, whether it was in Japan, or whether it was in Europe, or whether it was among the Native Americans. It's the
Yep.
same sound. So I got my
Wow.
own dragon.
Riding
And so I guess maybe I should have called this series Riding the Dragon. That would have been,
yeah. Well, you can
yeah.
change the name.
No, I've got
Okay.
someone working on a graphic, Danny. No.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming by. And thank you to all of you
You.
who've chosen to join us. As you will know by now, we'll be doing these as premieres. And if the people who've kindly given up their time now can join me, they will. And if they can't, you just get me, and we can talk in the chat room about what we're up to and about other things we can do. And if you have any ideas of other topics you'd like to hear about, we're only 2 days in, guys, so you got time. Anyways,
Yeah.
we are going to close this by blowing out our candles. See, I got fancy schmancy candle holders. They're gold.
Wow, those are nice.
Yeah, my kids said you get something that's solid and glass, you're not burning the house down again. Anyways, goodbye to everyone, and thank you for being
Thank
here.
you,
See you
everybody.
tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.